Hi, John. How are you today?
Hi, Elliot. How you doing?
I'm okay. So I saw that earlier today, the acting director at FinCEN, Him Das, gave a speech to at a conference, the ABA, American Banker Association, American Bar Association Financial Crimes Enforcement Conference. I wondered if you either saw the speech or saw the remarks on their website.
I did see the remarks. Obviously, you and I have a long history with that program, having helped create it back in as far back as 1989, and the it was always important to have the FinCEN directors, whomever he or she was at the time, speak to the bankers and the lawyers, and so this continues that um, you know process in 2022, but obviously, like in 2021, done virtually. So I did notice there was a couple of things in there sort of struck me. One is I can just a quick aside. I can remember when Stan Morris was the director. Um, we asked Stan if he would speak to. Um, I forgot how many years it was by the time. I think it was 10 years. So I think it was after the Money Laundering Control Act of 86. This is in 96. So 10 years in, is the BSA working? And he was a little taken aback by that premise. Of course, believed it was and talked about it. But Him Das, in his prepared remarks at least, is very clear and transparent about the importance of revisiting the infrastructure because of not just congressional direction from the AML Act that was signed earlier this year, but also a lot of the things that FinCEN has started in terms of looking at innovation, or looking at whether or not things can be more efficient. So definitely embracing the notion that change is coming is how I looked at it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he talked about the fact that, the purpose of the earliest reasons for the Bank Secrecy Act, which was, disrupting or countering financial flows related to drugs, and then how it changed as a result of the Patriot Act, disrupting money flows to groups, and I'm quoting here, like Al Qaeda.
Right.
And he goes on to say, it meaning the act never anticipated the challenges of the 2020s: digital assets, strategic corruption, an explosion of kleptocrats hiding their wealth in American shell companies, or artificial intelligence that could help us recognize these crimes and others. And he then goes on from that kind of quick history, which I think is as you point out, very insightful. And so he's really talking now. He says where we are is really best told in three chapters that could be titled New Threats, New Innovations, and New Partnerships. What do you think about that way of sort of looking at where we're headed?
Well, obviously, it makes sense that he calls out the fact that there are now listed priorities, which we've talked about before. He also mentions that FinCEN is looking at including other aspects of the real estate industry in an advance notice of proposed rulemaking, which is way overdue, but embraces that they are asking the public for their comments there. And on innovation, I think FinCEN, OCC, and the other agencies have been pretty open about the importance of it, but also that it doesn't always answer every question. And I think, they've done a lot of things like have open exchanges with the vending community that is in innovation. They talk about technologies, and this is from the prepared remarks. He says AI, blockchain, machine learning, all have the potential to automate the work that needs to be done, but it's not as simple as flipping a switch. So I think that's important. And then the other part of it that I continue to really appreciate is on partnerships. Obviously our community has been all about working closely with law enforcement for these past couple of decades. What he identifies in the remarks, though, is new partnerships. And obviously things like, we understand that the community wants to know what's happening with the data that you provide. We need to do a better job there. The old adage about improving feedback, but also, expanding that partnership to new entities, to fintech, not just traditional banking, and all these things that, in 1996 were not on anybody's radar.
Right. In 1996, probably the closest thing you had to a fintech was some of the companies that were providing core processing systems and, maybe involved in running some of the national and international payment systems, but we didn't think about them in the same way that, I think people think about it when you say the phrase fintech now.
Right. And the other parts of this that FinCEN does deserve credit for, and we've talked about it, is a number of the reports they've done. They did a ransomware trends report. They obviously have, there's some required reports under the AML Act, but there's some reports that have occurred over the course of the past year and will continue to give filers and users of information better information, because things like ransomware, the cyber world, was really not part of FinCEN's mission in the beginning as well. So there's a lot more to go here. So I think the way he's characterized this, threats, innovation, partnership, all those items are really important. And I would imagine that his comments were well received and not just seen as comments. I think they've proven, certainly also under the previous director Blanco, he was all about working groups, stakeholder dialogue, all those sorts of things. And it sounds like that's going to continue with this acting director.
Yes. It'll be interesting, as an aside, it'll be interesting to see at what point a permanent director is proposed and acted on by the Senate, because I think that's a Senate approval. Could be wrong, but
right.
Either way, we need there needs to be a proposal. Interesting. Always good to hear, actually, from the directors of the various agencies, because these kinds of speeches are often parts of the overall roadmap to understand what they're thinking and where they're focusing. I don't mean to equate them, but you've been a great advocate for using regulatory pieces about organizations that have problems, and to use those as roadmaps to understand how to improve your program. If you're looking for a more strategic view rather than a tactical view, I think speeches from agency heads or senior staff are equally valuable, because they are sharing with us kind of where they're looking and what they're trying to push the entire process. So useful to know about, useful to keep track of. And as you've said, most of the agency websites have a process by which you can sign up for new postings, so you don't have to troll the website. You can get a ping when they do that. So
that's right. Yep, that makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
So you want to do the plugs? Obviously, we have a couple of webinars coming up this month.
Yeah, you do the webinars and I'll do the other stuff.
So we're doing something different this month. We're working with the local chapter of ACAMS that's based in the DC region. They're doing a live stream conversation on betting on AML as sports betting comes to the what we call the DMV, the District, Maryland, and Virginia. That's January 24th at noon. And then on January 27th at 1, we'll be running the next edition of our AML Voices webinar series, Why Transaction Monitoring Isn't Working Like It Should, and What Can Be Done to Fix It. So that's on January 27th, 1 o'clock. Information on both of these events are on our website.
Yes, and if you enjoyed today's edition of This Week in AML, we urge you to sign up and get it served to you from SoundCloud or Spotify or Apple Podcast or wherever you get your podcast. And also on our website and on all of those platforms as well, you'll find other pieces of our AML Conversations series a variety of podcasts, both video and audio, on a wide range of topics. So, John, it was good to talk to you, and you have a great weekend, and we'll talk next week.
Stay safe, Elliot. Take care.
Yeah, you too. Bye bye.